This is a show that will blow your mind, but it might not. It all depends. Do you like breakfast and a book with a friend? I'm on a spinny chair. I'm on a spinny chair. I'm on a spinny chair. This is my song for you. I wrote a book about the spinny chair. What is happening in this air? I made a rhyme with chair and it was air because I'm super goofy and that's what I got. Welcome to Breakfast and a Book with Swallow, guys. I am spinning in my chair, having a good time. We're going to talk about breakfast in a book. We're going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to show you the delicious oatmeal that I made on this fine morning. And ooh, look. Can you see the steaming cup of tea? Not really, but it's steaming, I promise. So, hope you're all doing good today. And what is this now? 3 weeks? Are we at 3 weeks of, I don't even know, 2, 3, a month of not going places? It's been pretty crazy, you guys. But I'm doing okay. I'm eating oatmeal. Oh, look at that. You put a little brown sugar and some oatmeal. You can't go wrong, guys. You can't go wrong. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a little stretching before we eat the breakfast and talk about Star Wars. So it's going to be pretty entertaining. Let me show you my favorite stretch. This is what I call the old man stretch. Oh, yeah. You feel that right here in the little gray area? Yeah, and a little bit in the back, right? All right, all right. We got to do the other leg. You can't just do one leg. Oh, yeah. Stretch, guys. Oh, you could also do this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, see, stretching is good for you. That's the other thing is I realized I need to do some activity because I'm not doing much activity. Philip says, what up, Ron? You know what's up? I'm stretching. Check this out. Can I get crazy? Oh, yeah. I can't touch my toes, guys. This is the best I can do. Maybe by the end of this next 1 month of coronavirus pandemic, I'll be able to stretch good. Oh, yeah. Okay, now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this stretch, but there's this one. You go like this, and you pull like this. Oh, it feels really good on the lower back, you guys. So, whew, do the stretches with me. Come on, do the stretches with me. Look at my foot. Look at my foot, guys. All right. That's my stretches for the morning. We got a little stretches in. Oh, yeah. Now, let's eat this oatmeal. Let's see how it goes. Oatmeal good. So, now we're going to talk about the Star Wars Fate of the Jedi Vortex by Troy Denning. This is one of the extended universe books where before Disney bought Star Wars, they had, I don't know, 100 novels of Star Wars that I have read all of them. They're very good. Most of them are fantastic. Philip Mullins, oh yeah, stretch it out. This needs to be Patreon content. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to show people how to stretch. I need to stretch more. Like, legitimately, I do. Also, by the way, this is what my hair looks like when I wake up. So, this is what you get, guys. Faux hawk au natural. The extended universe books were really good. I really, really got into them. You know, Luke has a kid. Han and Leia have kids. And it's not part of the, the new Disney thing. It's totally different. In fact, Disney was like, this isn't canon anymore. Ignore those books. We're going to make our own. Which is perfectly fine. They do own the IP, so go ahead. Do your thing. However, I'm sad because this is one of the last books that has come out from the extended universe, and there was this big adventure they were going on, and we were going to get to see like a big ending to this adventure, and we didn't get to see the big ending. But either way, these books are still great, and I still would suggest them because there are endings within each group of Jedi of books, and there are many group of books, and you should read them all. But this is by Troy Denning. It's called Vortex. I'll read you the back. Jedi and Sith fight side by side against an even greater foe. But how long can enemies remain allies, and how high is the price of betrayal? In a stunning turn of events, Luke Skywalker and his son Ben joined forces with the Sith Armada sent to kill them and use their combined might against the monstrous being Abeloth. But when the wounded creature escapes, the fragile armistice crumbles and hostilities resume with the attempted assassination of Luke. On the hunt for Abeloth and on the run from the Sith, Luke and Ben find themselves trapped by a mob of angry Force adepts who care little for the difference between light side and dark side. With the Jedi's most famous father and son team outnumbered and outgunned, the countdown to galactic disaster has begun, and time is running out. That's pretty exciting, guys. This book is full of adventure. It has Han stuff in it as well. If you're a Han guy rather than a Luke guy, it's definitely got some of that in there. As you can see on the cover, it actually is Han. Bam. So, I'm going to open up in the middle of the book and read some of the book to you guys. It's going to be pretty exciting. Are you ready? Yes, you are. So, if you don't know, when I go to a bookstore, the way I read, way I pick out books, if I don't know the author, is I go and I look and read the back, see if it sounds interesting. Then I open up in the middle and I just start doing some reading. So that's what we're doing right now. Bam! Ben's question was cut short by a muffled crackle of force lightning coming from deep in the jungle behind them. They dropped over the sandy bank and rolled around to peer back through the foliage. Even drawing on the force to sharpen his vision, Luke could see only 20 meters or so through the bird-moth blizzard and tangled curtain of fronds. He extended his force awareness in the direction from which the sound had come and sensed only the planet's primordial miasma of life, voracious and alien and tinged with darkness. Fortunately, both Skywalkers were already hiding in the force, so it seemed unlikely the Sith could sense their location any better than he could theirs. But with Ben injured, the shadow gone, and Abeloth on the loose, that was not much comfort. Sith, Ben whispered, probably chasing Vistara. Or wanting us to think they are, Luke replied. He pulled a thermal detonator off his equipment harness and started back up the bank. Go prep the Emiacs. Ben grabbed his elbow. Dad, no! Luke looked back, saw the concern on his son's eyes, and sighed. You're worried about the girl. I saw Talon hit her during the fight, Ben said. They might believe her interference was on purpose. See, I already started reading a whole bunch, and then I didn't want to stop reading, because it's a good book. I hope you're all doing well. If you haven't read all the Star Wars novels, they're pretty great. At one point, this group called the Yuuzhan Vong that they can't really see in the Force shows up, and then they come up with a way to see through the Force by seeing the blank spots that are there. And then they, have to eventually make a compact with them. They come up with a way to solve their problems and tangled curtain of frogs. Cool. Well, fronds, F-R-O-N-D-S. I said it wrong. It would be cool if it was a tangled curtain of frogs, though. Ooh. That reminds me of Half Asleep in Frog Pajamas, which is a book by Tom Robbins. I don't know if I have it in my collection anymore, but if I do, I will review that at some point and read you some of that, because that shit is bananas. Tom Robbins is a totally interesting writer. But we're talking about Star Wars. There's lightsaber battles between Siths. I like these books a lot. I wish that they had turned them into movies instead, because if they'd gone with the Thrawn trilogy with directly right after it, I think it would have been killer. Those books were great. Thrawn was this character in Star Wars who ends up being that was hilarious. His hair was like boop, 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 boop. So Thrawn was this character in who was let into the Empire, who normally is xenophobic, but he is so good that they had to. He was, and he liked order and stuff like that, and he could figure out people's battle tendencies by looking at their art. So like he literally got an idea of how they would live their make their decisions by looking at the art of their culture, which is pretty interesting. So, and his arrogance made him lose in the end. I love stuff like that. And this one though, they're fighting this being called Abeloth, who's like almost like just a force being. It's all malevolent and trying to suck up more energy, get all the force energy, and rule everything as people who become dark tend to do. And so this is the Fate of the Jedi series. So you should literally read all of them. Especially because anytime you support any Star Wars things, you get to see more Star Wars things. I don't know if any of you guys saw The Mandalorian, but that is excellent, and I hope there's some books on it. Disney has put out more books that were with authors they've chosen, and all that stuff. So I want to check those out as well. But I haven't read many of those. They did come up with a Darth Vader one that was pretty dope, like when he's just kind of learning how to use the bionics of Darth Vader. So that one was pretty good. Oh yeah, I gotta take a bite of oatmeal, you guys. Can't waste the foods. Okay, now I gotta read it at the same time. Hold on. C-3PO's objection ended in the droid equivalent of a scream with Nato Awan appeared next to Jaina and used the Force to bring him flying toward the bunker. Han pulled the repeating blaster off his shoulder and raced after the droid in a crouching sprint. Even before the snipers opened fire, Jaina began to pick them off, silencing two with a series of quick shots. Han turned his T-21 in the direction Jaina wasn't shooting, and forgetting he had not switched the power level back to stun, began to lay his own suppression fire. By the time he reached the storage bunker, the steady stream of high-powered bolts had triggered the automatic fire suppression systems. The sealing nozzles began to pour retardant foam into the atrium. Philip says Mando is sweet. See, Han's in this book too. You gotta check it out. Vortex, Star Wars. It's so good, you guys. It's by Troy Denning, which you should just read all of his books too. Because that guy, as you could hear from his writing, it's like constant plot movement, constant action, and it totally does the thing that's very important. He paints a picture for you. So usually at the end of it, they'll say that some books that Troy has written. Troy Denning is the New York Times best-selling author of Star Wars, Fate of the Jedi, Abyss, Star Wars Tatooine Coast, a bunch of Star Wars books, as well as Pages of Pain, Beyond the High Road, The Summoning, and many other novels. A former game designer and editor, he lives in western Wisconsin with his wife. So yeah, that's it, guys. Check out Star Wars Fate of the Jedi. If you don't know how to make oatmeal, I'll help you out. It's very easy. You boil water, then you put the oatmeal in there, then you put some butter and some brown sugar and some cinnamon, and you stir it up, and then you eat it. You put it in your face. Now you know how to make oatmeal. Did you know how to make oatmeal before? Probably because you're an adult. Maybe not because you're not an adult, but you're sort of an adult. You're an adult that nobody taught anybody how to do anything. Maybe that's who you are. And I don't blame you. Sometimes adults who are your family members, they don't teach you the stuffs. And you gotta learn the stuffs on your own, you guys. So, I hope you're all staying at home, being safe. Thank you for listening to another Breakfast and a Book with Swallow. As I like to say, check out our Patreon on Nerd Goat. I have a podcast called Nerd Goat. If you haven't listened to Nerd Goat, you're fucking up. Nerd Goat is amazing. It's basically me, Ed Greer, and our producer, Bill, talking to people about their favorite fictional character of all time. During the quarantine, we are doing our own. We just did Moon Knight, and then we'll have another one coming out next week as well. We let out a Patreon episode, so you guys can know what our Patreon is like. So follow our Nerd Goat podcast on iTunes.
And you can also check out Rebooted. Rebooted is the project that Ed, me, producer Bill, and Billy Business from Screen Junkies put together. That we basically tell you guys how we would reboot movies that nobody wants to see rebooted. We did Green Lantern, and I think we made it good. We did Superman. We did Star Wars, Scott, the whole saga. We rebooted Star Wars, you guys, which is bananas. But we did it, and honestly, I think it turned out pretty good. It took a little while. People got mad at each other because some people are fans of Star Wars, and other people are not that big a fan of Star Wars. Check it out. Go to Reboot It on YouTube. It's not like you guys are doing much, so go on the YouTubes and check out my Reboot It. Also, check out all of these videos from the past. I've done like 12 or 13 of these now, and so I'm just trying to keep people entertained during the quarantine because it's all goofy out here, guys. We got to have a little bit of contact with each other, be goofy, say hi to each other, and but say hi to each other through these magical boxes that we have. I think about how crazy it is that if this were another time period where we didn't have much, first off, we'd have to use that rotary phone to call people, maybe. Fingers could get hurt, and you wouldn't have as much to do because the TV shows would not be being made, and they wouldn't have backlogs of TV shows. So, in a way, we got to be thankful that we are in the time period we are. And even as poor as I am now talking to you on a phone that I got when I was a little less poor, and that's still amazing. I've got a laptop still. I'm still eating food. It could be very much worse. And who knows, maybe in 2 months, it will be worse. And I'll be eating lettuce that I grow in my backyard or something like that. We don't know where it's going to go. But that's why we got to be out here supporting each other, being creative, being goofy, talking about the good stuff we like to do. Lose yourself in a book for a couple hours each day, I would suggest. So let's keep that up. Let's support each other. Let's do this. We can get through all this stuff. Believe in the science, and no online ordering of shit either. Yes, don't order a bunch of bullshit online. Don't go online and just be like, "Oh, that looks cool. I'll buy it." Wait for a little bit. Be careful. Just like I said, support each other. Be as cool as you can. Do these kind of things. I did Zoom karaoke the other night. So that was very fun. Try to do some stuff that's silly and stick together. Like, let's do that. Let's fucking do it, guys. We can beat this shit. It's more like we can just get through this and come out on the other end sane. So that's everything. Star Wars, Fate of Jedi, Vortex. It's a good book. You should check it out. Oatmeal, tea, living the dream. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow I will have a little more food because today is going to be our every 2 weeks shopping day. So we're going to go buy a bunch of food, and tomorrow I will make something a little bit different. I don't know what. Maybe it'll be a scramble with some vegetables and stuff like that. And maybe, just maybe, you'll get cooking, breakfast, stretching, and a book with Swallow. It's going to get longer and longer and longer. At some point, it'll be cooking, breakfast, nunchucks, sword fighting, stretching, dragons, and a book with Swallow, or something along those lines. But either way, thank you all for listening and watching. I hope I kept you entertained. If you liked it and you have extra money, only if you have extra money, you can Venmo me at Ron-Swallow or PayPal me at ronswallow@gmail or ronswallow@gmail.com. Yeah. So be safe out there, guys. Here's some hugs, some long distance hugs, some virtual hugs, squeezes. Everybody stay safe, and I will see you tomorrow.